Thank you, Senator Davey. Senator Green.
Thank you, Madam Acting Deputy President. Tonight I'd like to tell you 6 reasons that the Liberals' uni cuts and fee hikes are absolute trash and should go straight in the bin. They are absolute trash and they will hurt unis and students, particularly in regional Australia. Many students will pay more, some much more than others. That's number 1, Madam Acting Deputy President. Students on average will pay 7% more for their studies, and around 40% of students will have their fees increase, by 113%, paying 93% of the cost of their course. More money for uni fees. Students studying law, accounting, administration, economics, commerce, communications and humanities will pay more for their degrees than people doing medicine and dentistry degrees. There is definitely an ideology behind which courses are getting a fee hike, that we know. Reason number 2, universities will get less to do more. Universities will be given less money from this government and be required to do more work. The university sector will face a cut in their guaranteed funding of around $1 billion a year. And the average funding per student, well, that will drop by 5.8%. 5.8% per student. Number 3, it won't even work, Madam Acting Deputy President. Policy assumptions behind this policy are flawed. Experts are convinced that the student choice will not be swayed by price signals. So the government trying to usher people into certain degrees by making them more expensive isn't actually going to work. And the pricing model used by the government to calculate the average university teaching cost is weak, and the authors of the research said that they should caution against using its fundings for the purpose of multiple methodological reasons. The government's job demanding modelling is based on labour force marketing forecasting done prior to COVID. Prior to COVID. They haven't even sat down and have a look at how COVID is affecting the labour market to be able to make these policy decisions. Number 4, the Liberals' policy will do the opposite of what it's actually claiming to do. It will do the opposite of what it is claiming to do. Humanities graduates are just as in demand in the labour market as maths and science graduates, but the cost of humanities degrees is going to double. We're going to punish those students. We're going to tell students who want to go to university and study humanities that there is no place for you unless you are willing to pay a lot of money. In a Deloitte report called The Path to Prosperity, Why the Future of Work is Human, they said that actually today's jobs are increasingly likely to require cognitive skills of the head. Or, in another way of putting it, something new is also happening. Jobs are increasingly needing the use of our hearts. There's no reason why we should be punishing humanities students. We need humanities students. But this government is punishing them by rising the fees of their university degrees. Number 5, the worst impacts of this new legislation that the government is introducing will impact on regional universities. Under this package, nearly twice as many regional and remote students will have to pay the highest rate of student fees. So much for standing up for the regions in the middle of an economic crisis. So much for supporting students from the bush. Regional universities deliver a greater proportion of courses that will have funding cut than non-regional universities. This government doesn't care about kids from the bush, doesn't care about giving them a go if they want to go to university. They're making it harder for kids from the bush to go to university. And finally, the real clincher, the one that seals the deal on this legislation, which means that it definitely should go in the bin. Well, the Liberals are punishing Aussie kids. Students will lose access to government support if they fail more than half of the subjects that they are enrolled in the first year. This could create an incentive for universities to lower standards so fewer students fail. You know, going to university the first year, especially if you live in regional Australia, is tough. It's a hard year, it's a transition year, it's not easy for everyone. You go and you do your first course and maybe that is not the course for you. But are we going to punish kids for having a go? Or are we going to give them a go? As Scott Morrison always says, this Liberal government says, if you can't get it right the first time, see you later. We're not even going to give you a chance. We're not going to give you a chance to go to university if you can't get it right the first time. Well, Madam Acting Deputy President, this policy is absolute garbage. It belongs in the trash. Put it in the bin. Students in regional universities deserve much better.